Good morning. So this morning I wanted to share a moment with you guys because I don't really have a lot of changes in my life. I've been continuing with meditations. I think I'm somewhere along like week 6 or 7 now. Life is kind of the same. I wish I could say that I had some, miraculous events because I'm impatient. It's really hard for me to wait for things, but I guess that's kind of the human condition, right? So the biggest challenge for me has been like I do the meditation, I feel awesome, and then an hour later something happens. I get an email from a client that stresses me out, or I get a bill that's like overdue, or I get, something like something that makes me feel limited, and it makes me feel like the old me. And I think at the end of the day, my biggest struggles are feeling unworthy and they're feeling limited. What I tend to do a lot is like the whole, man, if I just had X, then I could be happy. If I just had Y, then I could have a great life. Then I could be fulfilled. I mean, I constantly have that narrative. So that's something that, to be completely honest with you guys, like I struggle with that, even putting in the meditations, but I'm trying to be more aware of those tendencies. And I know Dr. Dispenza says that awareness is part of the battle, right? To kind of call it. And there's a couple of his meditations, I think they're from Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. There's one called Water Rising, and there's one that's like, I forget, it's the other one that goes with it. But where you kind of like identify things about yourself that you would like to change, and you just flat out say change. And so I've started doing that. Like I'll be driving, actually yesterday, and I was thinking, man, if I just had like a little more money, I could do this thing. And I was like, change. I said it out loud, change. Because you kind of have to shock yourself out of it. And I think that's like right now, maybe one of the most applicable books to myself is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Are the Placebo is great because it lays down the scientific foundation, all the case studies for the work you're going to put in. Becoming Supernatural is awesome because it totally inspires you to do the work, and it helped me kind of like understand the quantum field and what that is. But Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, for me, is kind of like the key ingredient, because that's the one that like you change who you are when you're breathing, when you're walking around, when you're conscious, and it's so easy to fall back into those old habits. I catch myself doing it all the time. Do I change? Not necessarily, but at least now I'm becoming aware of those habits that I want to change. Now, the belief I'm going to change is this kind of intrinsic belief in me that I'm limited, that I'm a victim. And I think a lot of my energy is stuck in the second center of like the victim mindset, the limited, the woe is me. And I struggle with feeling gratitude. So I'm working on that day to day, changing that, because I think that if you do the meditations and you don't couple them with changing who you are in the waking hours and walking around, how you treat people, how you think, you're kind of like, one step forward, 2 steps back. Because on the one hand, you're getting up, you're having this Zen experience, you're in the quantum field, you're making changes there, but then you're going out and you're in the survival emotions and you're feeling like, a loser, you're feeling unhealthy or sick or whatever it may be. And trust me, I know it's hard. Like if you're sick and you feel the symptoms of your illness, I know it's hard to feel healed, right? And for me, in my case, if I'm financially limited, it's really hard for me sometimes to go out and to feel financially liberated, financially abundant, because logically, I'm like, I can barely pay my freaking bills. But you have to feel the gratitude, and you have to be thankful for what you have. If you have an illness, if you have something you're trying to heal, maybe you can still walk, and that's something to be grateful for. Maybe you still have your mental faculties. That's something to be grateful for, even though you have this other thing you really want to change. So the reason I did this video was nothing like profound really that changed, but I went out to have my coffee this morning, and it was just like such a beautiful morning. Perfect outside. I went out to have my coffee, and I was like, man, I just felt this like feeling of genuine sincerity. I mean, that feeling of just sitting and being content with what I have. My backyard, here, I'll show you guys. My backyard is like, there's a chicken coop, there's a bunch of junk, and like old me, when I sit out in the backyard, I think, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to put mulch in, our chain fence looks like crap, but I start the chorus of like what needs to be done and what I can do better and what's deficient, what's there's a tarp behind me, there's a bunch of junk. But like this morning I got out and I just sat and I was like, it's beautiful outside, and I feel whole and I don't feel lacking, and I feel content. And honestly, it was just kind of a moment for me, because I was like, if I can maintain this feeling throughout the day, just with simple things. I mean, nothing's changed my external environment, but it's breezy, it's nice, and I've found things to be grateful for. I think that's for me the missing element for seeing change manifest in my life. So anyway, I hope this is helpful for people that are working on changing their state of being, as well as doing the meditation work. So thanks again for joining me, and I will catch you guys next time.